Good morning, yogis. Welcome to your gentle session. I'm down here on the Inverloch Foreshore again today. It is such a gorgeous morning. I can't believe how lucky we've been this last week or two with little pockets of sunshine popping in for a day or two in May. Oh, so lucky, and it's so nice to have the sun on my skin. Everybody seems to be out walking their dog this morning, so we're going to have a few walkthroughs, I'm sure, but I know you won't mind. It's so quiet down here and so still, and I think that's perfect for the theme I wanted to work with in our practice today. The theme of our practice is Sahaj, and Sahaj is about an acceptance of everything just as it is. So meeting each moment in this practice and in your day ahead with Sahaj in your heart, finding things as they are and being grateful for that. Let's begin then. We'll lie down to start. And let's bend the knees and drop the feet quite wide. Bring your knees together, maybe like a little Inverloch beach teepee. And just let your lower back soften towards the mat, resting your hands on your tummy. And just taking a moment to really arrive. Pressing the pause button on any distracting thoughts, concerns, or to-do lists. Letting all these things just sit by the side of the mat and giving yourself this time for your practice. Being right here, right now. And just scanning through your body right now and noticing how you're feeling, noticing places in your body holding tension or tightness. Noticing too where you might be feeling open and vibrant and strong. Aware that opposites are always present in your body. And welcoming everything about how you are physically, just as it is. And connecting to your breathing now. Aware of the rise and the fall in the breath. Aware of those tiny pauses in your breathing too, at the top of your inhalation and at the end of your exhalation. And each time you're breathing out, letting go of absolutely all of the breath. Letting go of any tension that you're holding in your mind and in your body as you're breathing out. And every time you're breathing in, nourishing your whole system with prana, with animating life force that travels with the breath throughout every cell of the body. And when you're ready, let's heel toe the feet into the middle of the mat now. And we'll take a hold of the right leg and bring this in towards the chest. You might take your hands around your shin or over your knee or behind your thigh. See what feels best. And let's lengthen out through the left leg and flex the left foot so we're getting a little engagement through the back of the left leg. Let's now imagine you can breathe all the way down to the base of your left foot and all the way up to the top of the shoulder. And then each time you're breathing out, guiding that right thigh in towards the chest. And being aware of your neutral spine position here. So we want to create a little bit of space between the lower back and the floor, rather than pressing the middle and the lower back into the mat. Just finding a little space there so the spine is in axial extension. Lengthening out to the end of the left foot as you breathe in. And guiding the right knee in as you breathe out. Take one more inhalation here. And then as you exhale, curl up. Imagine drawing the pubic bone towards the navel And then lower back down as you breathe in. Curling up on your exhalation, engaging the lower part of the abdomen, lowering down as you breathe in again. Taking a few more rounds, moving at your pace, being led by your breathing. And at the end of this one, when your head comes back down to the mat, let's bend the left leg, resting the foot on the mat. We're going to take the left hand to the middle of the left thigh, the right hand over the right knee. Let's press into the left thigh as you draw the right leg into the chest. So now we are flattening the back against the mat. Pressing down with the middle and lower back and releasing any tension you're holding through this area and across the crests of the pelvis. Breathing it out of the body, breathing softness and expansion into this same space. When you're ready, release everything back to the mat again. Let's give the knees just a gentle movement side to side to reset the spine. And then coming back to center. We'll gather up the left leg now and bring this in towards the chest. Taking your hands over your shin or your knee or behind your thigh, whatever works. Let's lengthen out through the right leg now, flexing the right foot. Noticing as you flex the foot that the calf and the hamstring are engaged. Find that neutral spine position again, that little space between the lower back and the floor. And then let's come back to the breathing. As you're breathing in, imagine the breath being able to travel all the way to the base of the right foot and right up to the top of your right shoulder. And then as you're exhaling, guiding the left thigh into the chest. Expanding into length and spaciousness on the right side of the body and drawing the left thigh in as you breathe out. The neutral spine in place. You're breathing smooth and even. Take one more inhalation here. And then as you exhale, curl up. Again, draw the pubic bone towards the navel. Lower back down as you breathe in. Curling up on your exhale. And lowering on your inhale. Taking a few more rounds, following your breath, moving at your own pace. And when your head reaches the mat this time, let's bend the right leg, resting the foot on the mat. Take your right hand to the middle of your right thigh, left hand over the left knee. Let's press into the right thigh as we draw the left thigh in towards the chest. So we are now flattening the back against the floor, pressing down with the middle, lower back, releasing tension across the crests of the pelvis, breathing tension out, breathing softness in. When you're ready, release that leg down. Again, a little windscreen wiper action with your knees side to side, just to reset. Coming back to center now, let's set up for desk pose. So we want to line up the hips, the knees and the ankles, and that will mean you'll have a little bit of space between your feet. Pressing down with the 3 points of support in your feet, so that's under the big toe, under the pinky toe and under the heel of each foot. And then when you breathe in next, let's lift the hips and the chest into the air and take your arms overhead or wide if you prefer. Begin your exhalation and then start to lower down, traveling through each vertebra of the spine as you come back to your starting position. Inhale, raising the pelvis and the chest into the air. Pressing evenly through both feet, both legs. Begin to breathe out and then lower yourself down. So continuing to move in and out of desk pose, following your breathing, noticing as you're moving too if you might be favoring one leg or the other, either in coming into the shape or in bringing you safely down. And if you feel that you are, you might try and even things up just a little, paying attention to all these subtle nuances in your movement and in your habits. And then the next time you come into the elevated position, let's hold there for a little bit. So we'll bring the arms back down to the mat. You can either let the palms face down to the floor, or you might clasp your hands behind your back and walk the shoulders in a little. Pressing into the feet, firing up through the calves, through the thighs, the glutes and the abdominal wall, and really sharing the load of this pose quite evenly through the body. So we're not putting too much of a tax on the lower back as we hold the shape. When you're ready, gently bring yourself back down to the mat again. Lift the feet off the mat now, and let's give the knees a good squeeze. You might even like to curl up again, taking a little rocking movement side to side if you like. Maybe some circles. See what feels best for you. And then when you're ready, bring your feet back to the mat. And let's roll over to the right side, and we'll come up onto hands and knees, setting up in cat pose. Just take this little guy out here. So, setting up in cat, we want to bring the hands right underneath the shoulders. Soften into the elbows, find your long spine. And we'll breathe in here in cat. And then as you exhale, move to cow pose, tucking the chin and tailbone under. Return to cat again, this time lifting the gaze as you breathe in. And then on exhale, move to child's pose, letting all of the breath go. Return to cat again, breathing in, finding your neutral spine. Exhale to cow. Breathe in again, lifting the gaze, cat pose. And then taking your exhale to child's pose, all of the breath moving in. Continuing with that little sequence, cat to cow, cat child. Again, following your breath, being present in the pauses in your breathing. And when you next arrive in your child's pose, let's meet there. Maybe taking your knees a little wider now, really sinking into the shape, maybe even bringing your head down to the floor. Or you might rest your head on a stack of fists if you like. And if that's challenging for you, another option might be to rest up on your forearms or on the palms of your hands. But we want to round the back. Whatever version of child's pose we're taking, get a softness through the spine. Might give your head just a little gentle shake out side to side, easing out any tension in the neck and the shoulders. When you're ready, let's come up to a seated position, walking your hands back towards your knees. And then when you inhale next, come all the way up onto your knees, the arms overhead. And as you exhale, take a twist towards the left, opening the arms wide. Bring your arms high now, breathing in. Exhale and twisting towards the right. Take your arms up again, bringing the hands to Anjali Mudra over the crown, and now drawing the hands to the heart. And just stopping here for a moment to connect to your breathing, to be present in this moment, in this breath. in your body as you find it, welcoming everything just as it is, embodying Sahaj. We'll release the hands by the side of the body now, and let's step the right foot forward. We want to position the ankle directly under the knee. I might move back just a little because I think that will be more helpful to see what I'm doing. So the ankle is right under the knee. Let's take the hands on top of the right knee for a moment, and then maybe close your eyes and just sense into your pelvis. Notice if you're perhaps dumping weight down into the left side of the pelvis, or if the right side is lifted a little higher. We want to try and make that as even as you can. And then let the collarbones float really evenly too. Pressing down into your hands now. Feeling a lengthening through the spine, a broadening across the collarbones. And a sense of evenness throughout the torso as you press down. You can either stay right here, or when you breathe in next, take your arms to shoulder height. Let the palms face the ceiling. Really pressing into your foundations here. Keeping that length through the spine, that sense of broadness across the collarbones, and steadiness across the pelvis. And then you might choose to stay here, or you might raise your arms higher. Maybe lifting the gaze a little, aware of a little bit of a back bend in the mix now. Broad across the shoulders, long through the spine. Take one more inhalation, and then as you exhale, float your hands down gently, lowering your gaze towards the mat. And then let's bring the right foot in, and we'll set up on the other side. So the left foot forward, the knee right over the ankle. And just taking a moment to bring your hands to the top of that left knee, closing your eyes and sensing into the placement of your pelvis right now. Evening up as much as you can as you press into your foundations. And then let the collarbones float softly at the top of the torso. Pressing down into your knee. Lengthening through the spine, shoulder blades dropping down the back a little, the collarbones broad. You might choose to stay just as you are, or if you like, let's inhale and bring the arms just to shoulder height, the palms facing the ceiling. Continuing to stay steady in your foundations, opening the heart, welcoming the stay ahead. And you might choose to stay here, or you might take your arms a little higher again. Lifting the gaze, sensing that back bend. Strong in your foundations. Take one more inhalation. And then let's press through the air as you exhale, lowering the arms down. And then let's bring ourselves back to cat pose again, bringing that left foot back, getting stuck in the sand here. And you might take a couple of rounds of cat-cow now. And you might also like to play in Ganesha pose as an option, or continue with your cat-cows. And remembering, if you're wanting to move through Ganesha, we're just swirling the body around, leading it back and gliding it forward, and taking an opportunity to really lean into tension and tightness as you find it in your body. Welcoming all the information your body is giving you about where these things are present, and approaching yourself with gentleness, with kindness and empathy as you shine that interior light into places of darkness and of tension, breathing into them. And when you next bring the body forward, let's arrive in cat pose again. Walk your hands back towards your knees, and then let's come to lying down again. So let's outstretch the arms now. Lift your feet off the mat, and we're just going to gently windscreen wiper the knees side to side. Perhaps you want to keep your knees directly over the pelvis, or maybe you want to take them further away, or even bring them right up and into the chest. Or you might play in between those 2 points in space and just see where your body is asking for that massaging movement through the back. Leaning in to sensation as you find it. And the next time your knees come to the right side, let's bring them all the way over. Stacking the knees and the ankles, you might choose to gaze towards the ceiling, or you might roll your gaze to the left if that feels okay for your neck. And then let's find a little more length to the ends of the fingertips of both hands and draw the left shoulder a little closer to the mat as you're breathing out next. Every inhalation opening up into the left side of the rib cage and being with that movement of prana from the heart space throughout the body as it travels with the breath, bringing animating life force and light to every cell. And each time you're breathing out, letting all of your breath go and breathing tension out of your system, breathing out anything that no longer serves you, willingly letting it all go. Come back to center again when you're ready, and then we'll take the knees to the left side this time, stacking the knees and the ankles, maybe rolling your gaze to the right, maybe keeping your gaze towards the ceiling. See what feels best. And then let's lengthen out a little more to the ends of the fingers. Let's draw the right shoulder down towards the floor as you breathe out next. And then just being with that movement of prana, that subtle flow of life force in your system, carried by the breath, nourishing every cell, every opportunity to let go of what no longer serves you, being taken as you're breathing out each time. Come back to center again when you're ready. Let's take the hands on top of the kneecaps now. The feet are just dangling. We'll finish with Apanasana. We're going to bring wide arms into the mix today to tap into a little vitality in this beautiful day ahead. We'll inhale, send your knees and feet away. Take your arms wide. Begin to breathe out and then bring your knees into the chest, wrapping the arms around the torso, giving yourself a good hug. Opening the arms out as you breathe in and sending your legs away. And then wrapping the arms around the body the opposite way as you bring it all back in. So continuing with this, moving with your breath, and beginning your exhalation each time before you start to move the body. So we're really able to use the strength in the abdominal wall to support your movement. And letting this one be your last round of Apanasana. And then let's come to the mat in a comfortable position for your relaxation. So that might mean TPing your knees into the middle as we did at the very beginning of our session. Or you might drop your knees out wide and bring the soles of the feet together. That's a nice position to take if you want to bring a little more of a sense of enlivening the body into the end of your practice. And of course, good old Shavasana pose if you like, with long legs down the mat, the feet just dropping out to the side. And resting your hands by the side of the body. The palms facing upwards in an attitude of giving and receiving. Letting go of our physical practice, letting go of guiding the breath. Bringing your attention into the center of your mouth, softening the tongue, the sides of the mouth and the roof of the mouth, softening through the whole jaw, the left earlobe and the right earlobe soft and released, and following the spirals and folds of the outer architecture of your ears around and around. Moving inside the ears now into the sinus cavities, rolling your eyes back in your head and letting them fall into softness. Releasing the scalp and every muscle of the face soft. Sensing into the back of your neck and your throat. The shoulders and collarbones soft and released. The upper arms and elbows, forearms, wrists, hands and fingers released. Tracing the length of your spine from the top of your neck all the way down to your tailbone. And resting the torso heavily on the mat. Letting go of the hips and thighs, the knees, calves, ankles, feet and toes. The whole body relaxed, restored, and at ease. And in this state of deep relaxation, finding gratitude towards yourself for being right where you are this morning, taking time for yourself, practicing yoga, framing your day with this intention of Sahaj, everything just as it is. Inviting your senses back into your awareness and deepening your breathing again. Making some little movements with your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, take a long stretch through the body and roll over to the right side. And let's meet in a comfortable seated position to close our practice. And we'll meet with our hands at Anjali Mudra. Allowing Sahaj to be front and center in your day ahead, welcoming yourself as you find yourself today, welcoming situations as they are, welcoming each moment as it arrives, just as it is, without wishing to fix or change anything. Staying in this state of contentment, acceptance, and presence as you move through the day ahead. Thank you for practicing with me this morning, yogis. Have a beautiful day ahead. Take care. Namaste.